I had somebody tell me that I did not suffer from SUDEP because I was still alive. And I was like, okay. But the first thing on my medical record says extremely high risk of SUDEP. Like,
Don't you
I
think there's a little
stopped
more that
breathing. That,
contributes?
I've stopped breathing multiple times. Does that mean that just because I've been brought back that I don't have it? What? Okay, so I never, ever, ever said anything about it again. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm alive.
No, since you've come back a couple times, now we're going back to the Greek thoughts, and that means again you're a priestess.
There you go, right?
There
I'm,
you go.
Yeah,
That would be
I
my
had
response.
I
I
crossed
had
over.
I had someone tell me when I experienced my cluster is like you can't be aware, like you can't be conscious and like convulsing at the same time. I was like, I know what was happening.
There's so many different kinds of epilepsy. What the heck is wrong with people?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Honestly, how do you know what's going on inside my brain?
Does
That's
that
what
person
Like,
have epilepsy?
What's that?
it's-
That person have epilepsy?
Exactly.
I don't even remember. I'm just like, I know what was happening to my body and I didn't like it.
Yeah, that would suck a lot.
And it was happening for hours.
Yeah, yeah, clusters suck. And they could go for days. It's nobody wants that. I'm sorry.
Can you, can you explain that? Because I'm not sure if I had clusters before. I've always had one, either been like go to the hospital or not. I was always out within like 5 or 6 hours. Um, I don't think I've been told about multiple seizures. Maybe like once I've had two, one on the hot one, and then one on the way to the hospital.
So the one I had, this was basically like uh, I was finished. My daughter was one or about to be one. I just finished her, like she woke up like 4 a.m. or something. Um, and I just finished and I was getting my stuff ready for work. And she was coming down and all like I was still aware. Like I could completely see everything. And all I know is I was brought down to my knees and I went down to the floor and I started convulsing. Like I don't know, like I don't remember how they got me into the recliner. Um but she did. She called, like she did call the neurologist. And the neurologist had me take one of, I don't know remember which pills I was on. I'm gonna say my Vimpat, but I'm not 100% sure. Um, because this was a few years ago. Uh, and the like the convulsing did not stop. It just kept on going. So when the doctor like said, "Did it stop or anything?" It's like, "All right, I'm going to write you a prescription of clonazepam, and you just gotta wait for that, basically." And I was going on like, and all this happened from 4 in the morning, well, 6 in the morning to 11, 12 in the afternoon until they got the clonazepam in me. Well, my wife, the deteriorating pill.
So I would
Like,
describe clusters as like a never-ending post-ictal.
Mhm. They're just,
That's what it feels
or,
like.
or like, yeah, I mean, like maybe you have a long one and they manage to get a pill in you and maybe it stops and then, 15 minutes later you're having another one
yeah.
and it's just over and over and yeah,
It,
it's just
And I'm
not.
always adamant about not giving me the nasal lamp because I'm like, no, this is the first time. And, they
it's
literally have to
seizure
get it on
hell.
video to convince me that I've been having seizures all day because it always feels like it's just starting over.
See, I certainly have learned a lot about seizures and because I've had it most of my life, but I could never tell if especially about the focal seizures. I never knew anything about those, but I may have had them. People told me I may have had them, but now these cluster seizures, prior to my tonic clotting or grand mal seizures, I always thought I just had a bunch of myoclonic seizures, rapid myoclonic seizures. Could that have been cluster seizures?
I mean, by myoclonic, you're definitely saying there was like a physical, tick or
Spasming.
some kind of motion, right?
Yeah, it's just a lot of seizures, and I was aware, obviously, but uh, going up into um, a grand mal seizure, I would have. But I'm reading online, you don't have a grand. I mean, is it
Clusters don't
right?
have to be progressive though. Clusters can be the same type
Just the
of,
same
partial
thing
aware over
over
and
and
over and
over
over.
and over
Yes.
and over again. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
My
they.
usual ones are grand mal, like, and I'm never aware of those. I
Yeah.
drop and fall,
Right.
and
Mhm.
Me
like I
too.
said,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's only one time, and I don't know if she was doing this out of, I'm assuming it was my subconscious, but you know, there was one time my wife said where I didn't just fall, and this happened after the cluster because I think a lot in my mind was I don't want to terrify my daughter, you know, and I was completely unconscious. Like, I don't know anything. And my wife had to tell me, like, everything. Like, you didn't, like, it was like I was fighting. Like, my subconscious was fighting to not do everything against, like, I don't know how to, like, I guess you had to be there to see it, or, but it, it's like the way she explained it, it was just like,
You had some semblance of control so that you didn't scare the heck out of your kid.
yeah, it was like the only way I
Tiny
can
bit.
explain it. The only thing I can make logic of it is my subconscious took over instead of my conscious mind, and it was fighting for me while I was having my grand mal.
Well, they explain clusters to me as like being able to be different kinds of seizures too. Like I had one of those wandering off ones and then, turned around, came back, realized what happened. Nothing was seriously wrong. But then, family caught me in a couple of, focal unawares
Mhm.
doing the, biting lips and like all the facial motions. So the doctor referred to those. That I think that ended up being a call because we're saying, okay, this Nasalam, this rescue medication, I understand you're supposed to give it to them when they have more than like 2 or 3 seizures in an hour, but they haven't all been bad ones. And they still went ahead and said, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
If you're having that many seizures, again, back to the point of like every time you have a seizure, you're killing brain cells.
Or
Not to
one that's
mention the
or one
electrodes,
that's
like
3 minutes or longer. They're
yep,
all about.
Yeah. Once you go
that's
into
their
a
golden rule. But now I'm thinking these electrodes in my brain, if they're upping that's another thing that's frustrating about not being able to have access to my data, and it's not even in the visit, the notes from the visit. They don't specify how they change the settings on this thing in my brain, if it's zapping me sooner or harder or longer, or you know, who knows.
Why can't
So
they just share that crap? What do they think you're not
they finally
intelligent
got
enough
back
to
to me
understand?
promising that I could get a screenshot. I can only see this specialist, first of all, who's an hour and a half away, once every 6 months now, because she determined that was all that was necessary. The RNS rep is a traveling rep, so they only do these RNS appointments on like the first Thursday of the month. And it's definitely a little bit of a juggle to try to get in there and maintain my composure and not appear frustrated when I know I'm just speaking to a rep who can't really do shit anyway. I mean, do I seriously expect him to hand me the tablet so I can just start like browsing and go ahead, move on to your next patient, come back in a few minutes and
like
thank you for my
they,
data? Like,
they should have it like a at least a monthly appointment at least.
That's crazy. Yeah.
but that's more
Saying
intimidating because I don't know if they're changing the settings to always just be more aggressive. No, I haven't stopped having seizures yet, but maybe the RNS just isn't the solution for the focals.
yeah.
So I don't want to encourage a little, I don't want overkill on these RNS appointments just in case it might be doing more harm than good long term.
Yeah.
So that's just
I
another way that epilepsy is confusing because it really is different for every single patient.
I
I'm
think I
like,
may have asked you this before. When did you have the RNS in or implanted?
20
Katie,
definitely before COVID. So 2018. Yeah,
okay.
because I was doing the sleep studies and all that in 2016. Yeah, it was 2018.
So, and has it, how has it been?
Tonic-clonics have gotten shorter. The duration and severity of the tonic-clonics are less. Now haven't had more than 3 a year since it was implanted. Um, Still, no real progress on the focals. Those still happen at least like 5 a month. And the other curious part is that when I, at the beginning when they were being a lot more thorough about going through my seizure diary. My seizure diary is a website where I could take all my notes. They would ask me specifically, like, tell me everything you have for the last 3 months, and they would refer to the text tablet, and that's why you're supposed to swipe the magnet as kind of a bookmark for them because it will turn the EEG, the lines red. And so when I got to the point where I couldn't upload my data after the hurricane, we just weren't in a place, and they just were not as thorough. They don't even ask me anymore how many seizures have you had in the last 6 months, and there's just no open discussion because it's like maybe the neurologist feels like she learned enough from the tech, and they don't discuss anything in front of me anymore. So that's another little sore spot. I was definitely a guinea pig like this whole time. The neurologist was looking forward to these RNS appointments to learn how to do it on her own. That's the vibe I get anyway. And
I
I
don't feel
seriously thought I
like
could like relate to this woman because she was telling me at the same time that I was pregnant, oh, I just had my baby too, and I came back to work after 6 weeks. And I don't know why I didn't see that as a red flag, like that poor woman.
I don't think messing with my brain will help. Like,
Hey,
mm,
they sold it, We did studies. We helped so many others. And since
Mhm.
you have
If
no
I-
cause, since you have like nothing else working, and you've taken over 10 drugs and you've had it for this long, and you want to get off the meds because of your children,
It's like, yeah,
they
you still
just
gotta
totally
take
sold the
meds.
like no dependence thing. The independence thing is what wrote me in.
Well, thank God my epileptologist has been truthful with me. Oh yeah, sure, we'll go in there, we'll do exploratory surgery, we'll
It's
remove
like,
stuff. But you're
if
still
I
going to
still
be on
gotta take
medication
meds,
and you're still
no.
going to have seizures for the rest of your life. Well, thank you for at least telling me the truth, right? Before
You
I let you
know,
go ahead
thank
and
you.
crack my head open. Like, thank you. That's nice of you.
But of course, you know, I was in my early 20s, like, or mid 20s, whatever, and I was thinking, okay, I lost my job. That's, you know, I can't drive anymore. And what do I have to lose?
Right, right.
That was
You
that
know,
was
right?
totally
You
that
at
my
that
state of
point,
mind
you're
at that
like,
point.
I'm so down. Like, what else is there?
Exactly.
I get it. I'm not
And
saying
I'm
you did
telling
anything
myself,
wrong,
okay, this
Katie.
is the
I'm
West
just
Coast
saying,
now. I'm in Tampa. Like I still thought like everything like shit was way better on the Gulf Coast for some reason. Just because we could never afford to
Yeah,
live over there.
yeah.
mm, wow.
I got something here. It says my mom is against me taking anti-epileptic medications. I asked my mother if it was okay for me taking these anti-epileptic medications because I need her permission to get them prescribed due to financial issues. She said she's against me taking them. She just says, "Why don't you do more testing in July when I'm better?" And said that she would not see me as a daughter if I kept lying to her about me secretly going to hospitals and getting tested. She said I don't have epilepsy because of normal EEG and told me to give the medication a second thought. How do you convince someone that taking them is essential for your life?
um,
I've always had insurance, so I haven't had the problem with going through the financial part.
Yeah.
Uh,
Convincing someone is a different story, but I never had to convince anyone.
yeah, I think everybody was just tired of seeing me having seizures, and then they eventually like, take your medication.
yeah.
Yeah.
No one ever said don't take them. I think if it came to it, somebody would pay for them so they don't have to see it.
Yeah.
I knew my parents gave me my medication when I was a child, like teenager, so I wouldn't forget. And then when I was working, depending on my jobs, I know my last job, like I said, it was a 10-hour work period, but because I had to use public transportation, it's more like 12 hours. So it could throw medications off, you know, like I can definitely feel when like, oh, it's time for the Clonopin now.
Never get the vibe. Everyone tells me they get that little vibe. I think
Mm.
once I get my vibe, it's too late.
Yeah, it's pretty far gone if I'm starting to feel it.
Yeah, that's when I don't have words anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine is like it's way too late. It's like stepping into the street. You see the car, it's too late.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe this person could ask their neurologist or their epileptologist to write their mother a letter expressing that their life depends on it.
I think go a little further. I think we talked about this before. You got to maybe have the doctor talk to them.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
either a
Yeah.
letter, a phone call, make them go to the office.
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but I think most
Yeah.
doctors, if they really believe that this is life threatening for you, then they would be happy to express that to the person that's going to let you take your medication or get your medication. It's yeah.
No,
I mean, is this person a child still, or
But she said, or
an
they said
adult?
it was insurance concerns, right?
With
Pookie.
the financial issues.
Right, financial
okay.
issues.
I need her permission to get them prescribed due to financial issues. So most likely this is a child or someone living with their mother of certain age to where they need them.
All right,
Yes.
that's something else altogether because money can really,
Yeah, that's
yeah, that's changes a lot of stuff.
Big deal. I
and
can't.
insurance. Certain insurance only covers certain things. So
Yeah.
But she like told her don't go to the hospital because of I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been through that, so I don't know how drastic it is to not have um, to have to be charged to go to the doctor appointment or whatever. Um,
you
yeah,
know how much most of us don't want to be in an emergency room.
Yeah.
Well, like you
nobody
said,
wants to
certain
go.
insurance covers certain things. So I always end up having to pay for the ambulance ride, but not necessarily the treatment in the emergency room. I think if it was outpatient, I don't remember, but insurance does get complicated.
It does. It does.
Mm.
But gosh.
It's better to still keep safety as a priority, though.
Yeah. I mean, at least you can ask the doctor if they'll talk to him, talk to her.
There's
Yeah.
a comment saying having a normal EEG doesn't mean anything. It's likely only going to pick up something abnormal if you have a seizure during the procedure.
Exactly. That's the way it works,
No,
right?
that's not. Because I remember reading one of my EEGs. They didn't pick up anything on it, but they still called it abnormal. But
Okay.
a-
Because it wasn't.
again,
Okay.
again, this was like the late '90s, early 2000s. So I can't explain. I'm still a child back then, like teenager. So
Sounds
Right.
more
Why
like a
they
step in the
call.
right direction.
yeah,
Even back then, they were probably just using less electrodes. It wasn't one of those, I forget what they call it, but they put like a million stickers on you instead of like 10.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a comment here that says, I had troubles with my mom, and the doctor suggested that I bring her with me in my 2 month follow up I had coming up. I didn't think she would go, but said I could try, but it's unlikely. And the doctor wrote a letter to give her explaining my situation and that treatment was required. Maybe your doctor could do this for you.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, if she won't answer the phone, or the doctor's too busy to call, or whatever, at least you can ask for a letter. It's a physical thing that she has to touch and look at and say, I don't care if my child gets treatment that might save their life or not. You know? So it's a little more reality inducing, I guess, than like
Yeah,
an
a reality
email.
check is a good term for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I remember back when my wife was still my girlfriend, and I'm like, she was talking about having a kid, and I'm like, I don't want to pass this on to my kid. I was like, and I love my daughter. I love her. I still fear it, but it's like she said the most. Like we had our one-on-one talks and stuff, and I think one of the most common things she says is like, is you already been through it alone, whatever. It's like she won't have to go through it alone. She will have you for a guide.
A support system.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing. Well, I think about it now. I wasn't thinking about it then because I was in my teens. But I think now my daughter could have got it because her grandmother has it on her mom's side, and her mom has narcolepsy. So once I got old enough to understand it, I would start thinking, eventually that could pop up. But we haven't even brought it up. I don't think her mom even thought like that as of now. But yeah, that's a thing. I don't know if she's gonna pop up one day and just have it. I don't know if mine isn't genetic, so she's not gonna get it from me. But
Yeah.
like I said, her mother is narcoleptic, and her grandmother was epileptic. So I always think about that.
Right.
But I got another one.
That's
It says,
interesting, the narcolepsy. You don't see that very often.
it's odd sight to see.
Yeah.
You ever seen a video?
A what?
You ever
Oh, a
seen a
video of a
video of?
narcoleptic? No, I haven't, but I know it must be an interesting thing to have somebody you care about have. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like a person that falls asleep easily, I guess, because it
Yeah.
could be like we're having a conversation,
Mhm.
and since Angel's not talking, he falls asleep.
Right. Okay. All right.
So it's like you're
Okay.
not involved, but there's a lot going on, I guess, and she
And
just be
your
like,
brain checks out, and you just
"Yeah, like I'm not doing nothing. I guess I'll go to sleep."
oh, that's okay then. Hey, man, it's got to be better than being an insomniac, right?
Yeah, I never seen her like just fall out like epileptic, just like fall out
Okay, well,
of
that's
sleep,
good
nothing
then.
like that.
That's good. It's not like super dangerous and scary. Okay,
Nah,
excellent.
it's
I'm sorry.
always
You were getting ready to talk and I interrupted you.
oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, but like I said, it's always just a sitting situation to where you'd be like, oh, yeah, she's going to sleep, or if she's in the passenger seat, she'll go to sleep.
Okay.
But on to the next one.
Yeah.
It said something we could all relate to in some instance. That's what I'm saying. So lonely. This is the loneliest thing I've ever dealt with. I have almost no contact with anyone. Don't work anymore, so not even. I'm still in the beginning stages of all this, and I just hate this so much. I felt alone once upon a time. There was no really question in there, but it's labeled a question.
Mm.
Yeah, this is the new thing. If you're just now getting it,
Yeah, it's
just get used to it, I guess.
it's
I don't know
hard.
if that's a good way to say it. You just got to get used to it.
Nah, it's really hard. Like you really, for me, I had my family who seen it, my friends, and they became a strong support system for me. And then before me and my wife started having problems, yeah, she was like another one, was like strong support system to add. And it, it's like there's even with the strong support system, you can still feel that loneliness.
Yeah,
At
but it's
some
just
point,
for me, it's just more for like people who don't understand. But this kind of fills that void.
yeah, that's how I feel sometimes. It's like people don't understand. I wouldn't
Yeah, we
say
have
they.
so much more to appreciate than to complain about at this point. So that one little, you know, not
Mhm.
understand, being able to like vent or rant about a subject that I would never bring up in front of other family members is convenient.
Yeah,
Imagine us when we didn't even have Reddit back in the late 90s or
Hey,
nothing.
you adapt and change. I mean, I'd be doing puzzles or reading a book.
yeah. Sometimes it's like the I feel lonely part comes when I be like, I'm in this alone and you're not really caring part. Then I feel lonely when I feel like you're just not considerate about my epilepsy. That's the lonely part, but it's not always where I just feel like lonely. I have a decent circle. I have my mom. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, my
You know
loneliness
the
hits whenever I get reminded that like any long-term plans I have are not worth shit. Like plans don't stick ever, but that's more of a life lesson than an epilepsy lesson. So I don't feel like I should complain about that either.
Yeah.
Does
You know
anyone have
what?
seizures due to heat? Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
Oh no. Well, yeah, I do have seizures due to heat, actually. Yeah, but I actually had that's probably one of my biggest triggers still. It still makes me dizzy and nauseous, but uh, when I had seizures before, they um, they were a big problem for me. I had a seizure on the hottest day of the year, and my house burned down. While, yeah, yeah, that was probably the worst seizure I had. Well, it wasn't a seizure, a terribly bad seizure. There was no auras during or before, and it just happened. It, I try to do the odds all the time on that. I try to calculate the odds of a seizure happening, and it was just an electrical fire. And house burned down. I was unconscious. Could do nothing to stop it, and it was like 100 degrees that day, 100, 101, 2 or 3. But yeah, so yeah, heat's a really bad trigger for me.
Anybody else have heat problems?
I
Definitely.
I've been to my
dizziness.
mom's house, so she is like 110 every day of the summer. So
Oof.
it's like the whole summer I just walked around in basketball shorts and no shirt.
Yep.
I freeze water bottles. I always have a frozen water bottle like ready to go. So that way, if I do
Well,
have to end up outside, then we
well, this is
stay as much in the
hard.
shade as possible.
Stay
And the cold water
hydrated.
bottle, yeah, I chug that one immediately, and then the frozen one will be like ready because
Okay, yeah,
it gets that hot here.
we kind of
I
answered the
work.
question that came with it. The question was, how do you all deal with summer coming up? Wednesday was a pain in the ass, being that it was in the mid 90s. I was drinking plenty of water and taking cool showers. Basically, we answered the question, how do you guys deal with that?
Yeah.
I've
Before I asked the
always
question, we answered
taken
it.
cold showers. I just realized this that I like taking cold showers and stuff like since I was a little.
Sometimes, especially at my
Yeah.
mom's house.
Yeah. My
Like
house.
even in all times of seasons,
That.
I like taking cold showers. Like I'm the one that didn't waste the hot water.
Yeah.
Rick is in the comments. He said, I have a cooling neckband. It has pockets for those little frozen blocks that people put in coolers. I think I've seen one of those. Little thing like wrap around your neck. Looks like the thing you have on an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So no condensation getting into your pillow.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go with any more devices.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
this would be
very
something good for Tuna because he acts the same thing. It says keep it on weight. Anybody having problems keeping on weight? I've never had issues maintaining my weight until around the time I was diagnosed at 35. At the time in my life where I'm supposed to be putting on weight, the opposite happens. I'm healthy, blood work fine. I get plenty of exercise. I just don't get hungry. All the doctors say I'm good, but I have to make myself eat. If I don't set an alarm, I don't eat. I don't even think about it. Imagine a man 150 pounds, standing 6'2". I look like I had anorexia or something. I know it's a healthy BMI, but that's just not true. Thoughts? Is this a problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 6'2", and I'm like 30, almost 40 pounds more than him, and I don't look like I have anorexia. That's light. That's really, really skinny for someone my height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Tuna. Tuna said he's 6 feet and he's 100 pounds.
Wow.
I'm
Talk about day by
6 foot.
day.
I'm 220-ish. And I had to lose weight, but I remember I could eat so much and it wouldn't, like, I wouldn't gain it. I could go through a whole box of pizza by myself. You know?
I can go through a pizza still. Like, depends on how hungry I am, and if I smoke, then I could clear a refrigerator at some point. But
So for everybody who has trouble maintaining their weight when there's after diagnosis, is it keeping the food down or is it just not ever having any hunger sensation?
for him, it sounds like he just wasn't hungry. Like he said, I set an alarm or I'm not going to eat.
Okay.
I don't set an alarm because I'm probably going to snooze it or skip it anyway. So,
Yeah.
living on water.
Yeah. I don't get hungry a lot. I have to be forced to eat a lot of times. And but like I told Pookie before, a lot of times at night, if I've got insomnia, I'll find myself going out and eating things quietly in the kitchen.
That's
I do the same.
You
I
know,
do the
3
same.
or 4 times, rebrushing my teeth over and over. But you know, I
Yeah.
figure, hey, that's okay because
If I gotta force myself to eat, I'm making sure I'm eating at least breakfast and dinner at least.
that's usually what happens. Not always myself. Sometimes it's someone else in the house forcing me to do those 2 things. But yeah, and
Or I'm out with somebody and they're like, "Here, get something." I don't
yeah,
want nothing. I don't want nothing. And it's like, "Here, get something." I'm
do
like,
it anyway. I don't want that cheeseburger. Eat it anyway. Yeah, there's a lot of that. And then I realized that if I didn't eat before I took my medications, that I would get sick, like actually throw up the medications,
Oh,
whatever else was in my stomach from whenever else I ate. So yeah, both. So that was when I trained myself to eat, at least breakfast and dinner. But yeah, that's
Does anybody
that's a whole nother
ever,
battle.
yeah.
does the pills make anybody nauseous? I've read that somewhere that the pills made someone nauseous.
Yeah, if I
How
don't
do you
eat
keep them
something
down to make you nauseous? That sucks.
I think that was one of
Makes
the
me kind
extended
of
release that we
hungry.
stopped quickly.
The pills make me a little hungry, but everything makes me hungry.
Lucky you.
The only
no
emotion I
doubt,
feel,
man. I want to be
I,
hungry.
I get
You know how long I've wanted to be hungry?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been waiting so long to be hungry.
I want to be hungry again too.
Oh, and the weed doesn't
careful,
even do it for you?
careful what you wish for.
Not very often.
Damn.
Sitting makes me hungry. That's the only emotion I feel. So,
You guys
like,
wouldn't believe I'm sitting right next to a pizza and a tray of garlic knots right now.
Oh
And
God. Yeah, I would eat some of that actually, probably. Like if somebody had that and put it next to me, I would probably eat it. But if I have to go upstairs and go through the trouble of trying to find it or make it, then
right. Then I'll break out the cereal.
Yeah, it's like if I
I'll
gotta
have some more
go in
grape
there,
nuts.
if
Yeah.
I actually gotta go in there and cook something, my thought of appetite goes away. As soon as I think about what's in there that I can microwave, and I'm like, nothing. I'm not hungry.
So maybe we're the ones fueling the growing business of all these like delivering homemade meals like ready to go. They're like
Yeah.
gourmet lunchable looking things, but their commercials are on every single crossword game that I play. And I'm wondering, how is this getting to be such a thing? Are people really just actually that lazy, or like getting this for the elderly? Or but hey, if a
Yeah,
lot of
and you know, technically, if you're uncontrolled, you're not supposed to be using a stove. And I can attest that I
oh
was caught getting ready to collapse onto my kitchen floor, standing over a bowl of steaming pasta for my family. And that was about the last straw when my doctor was like, you have to go on disability. This is not a thing anymore. You're not going back to work against my wishes. You're not doing nothing. You have to do this. And so my 20-year-old daughter does most of the cooking.
and anybody else who didn't have epilepsy would call that an excuse of just like why you're not eating and losing weight and malnourished or whatever. But if I didn't have so many scars from little nicks of
Oh,
knives all over my hands, then
I
yeah,
have
I
burns right now and I don't
now I
even
can
cook.
understand
How is that
exactly.
possible, right?
Exactly. So maybe epileptics really should stay out of the kitchen, or at least not, not chop the onions all the time.
Yes.
I've only had one
Oh my
situation that I know of where I had a situation where I had an episode in the kitchen. And that one, I think I ruined the dinner because I made the macaroni and then I boiled the noodles. And before I could put the cheese in it, I knocked them all over the floor. So,
I've done a lot of that kind of stuff too. I did a lot of that before the almost falling into the pasta where I was completely, I wasn't even there. I don't remember it happening. I was swaying back and forth apparently. I don't,
I don't have any of those stories.
for some reason, when I came to, I described to them that I remember pouring those noodles in the sink. And they were like, no, you didn't. And I was
no,
like, I
you didn't.
remember pouring the noodles in the sink.
But I
So
did.
I
I'm
didn't. So I
gonna
guess
fight with somebody about it.
it
But
happened.
I did it. No, you didn't.
Think I
Probably as
have.
soon as I picked up the pot, I was probably out of it right then. That's all I remember, picking up the pot and going. Well, I remember something that didn't happen. They said I didn't pour the water out in the sink. I didn't make it to the sink. In my head, that story went on from grabbing the pot to pouring the water out, and yeah,
Oh yeah, it's a
I
big
had
pick
I had
your
stories
battles
like that
subject.
where I remember I did that, and it's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I'm having to learn to stop fighting with the people in my house about it because I'm starting
Exactly.
to believe them. And I would have never, my memory was rock solid. I was, the one that remembered everything right. But I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. 9 times out of
Um,
10, I'm arguing about something I probably didn't do, and I should probably shut up. It's a very uncomfortable feeling when you're the mom, right?
the most obvious thing, again, when you're the mom, is the multitasking. If, before I would remember if I had to make the phone call, add something to the grocery list, and, get the tidying up done in the meantime. But now it is one thing at a time and write down what has to be done next. I'll
Yeah.
send a text message to like the text message thread to daughter is literally just a string of reminders for myself of who to call, what test results to get, where to send them to. And this is, yeah, but mommy is fun.
my memory is bad, but I'm good with remembering numbers. Like I can remember my Medi-Cal number when someone asked me for it, or
Wow, that's
Oh,
a big number, man.
I can
Nice.
I
remember
don't
my
even
phone
remember
number,
what
my
it
mom's
starts
phone
with.
number. Well, actually, no, I forget my mom's phone number time to time. But yeah, like I know it just like maybe 4 out of 10 times that you ask me, I'll know it.
Wow,
hey, short term versus long term. I can
that's
remember my ex's
great.
driver's license number. I know
I
Wow.
his social,
remember.
his driver's license number, all of that. But that just goes to show you how many of his like broke ass job applications I filled out over the years.
Yeah, okay.
So
I was gonna say, why exactly
Remember when we had to
Or is
dial?
that something you have to have in Florida that I just don't remember needing?
You know, otherwise, if it's not like set to a good beat, I won't remember the words to like anything.
Does
Remember when we
anyone
had to
not
dial
remember?
phone numbers and stuff, home phone numbers? I think the only one I can remember was one of my mom's house phone numbers, and it wasn't even like the current house phone number. It was like from when I
We're gonna
was
get them up by 8. Wake up.
5. Like it was
Because you woke
Long-term
us
between
memory,
up 2
right?
hours early.
5
So
and
if we wake them at
12.
8, I think we'll go to sleep by 9.
explains why the meltdown.
Go.
Yeah, it
So
was like
Hard time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I remember my father's phone number, and he died when I was 22. And I remember his best friend's number, who was the father of my best friend. And that's it. I don't remember my mother's phone number, anything else. Like, I can remember my husband's cell phone number. That's
I don't remember no cell phone
everything else is
number.
on the cell phone or it's gone.
Yeah, if
does
it's on the
anybody
cell
remember their
phone,
social
I got
security
it.
number?
I do remember that.
I remember my social security. So
Mhm.
Yeah, I
my phone
remember my
number,
social security. I have to use it so much.
Yep. Gotta use it a lot.
it's like with the code to my apartment, like you need code to get in. I was coming back from a trip for like 3 months, and I could not remember the code before I got there. But as soon as I looked at the pad, it just came to me.
Oh,
This one,
good,
this one, this one, this one.
good, good.
And I was tripping like the whole time, like I'm not gonna be able to get in this building. I'm gonna be sitting outside. Uh, but yeah,
Oh, I'm glad that worked then. You got in. My gosh.
I'm glad I'm good with numbers and math. And it's like if someone tells me an address, if I use it enough, I can go there over and over. Like the hospital address, I know it all the time. I know the pharmacies, different pharmacies. I know this Safeway has a pharmacy and their address. I remember stuff like that. But short term, like I said, short term is hard retaining info, especially most recent info.
Mm-hmm.
That's why repetition, you got to keep,
Yeah.
with all this stuff,
I try that. I try to, make myself repeat things over and over and over and over again so that it sinks into the long term. That's the only reason
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember my social, right? Because my father made me memorize it when I was like 16.
Yeah, with me, like to remember phone numbers, like someone's telling me their phone number, I'm like, I gotta go find my phone. So as they're
Yeah,
saying
no.
it, I gotta repeat it to myself out loud over and over until I get to my phone, or I'm gonna forget it. And I'm gonna end up going back and be like, tell me that number again. But if I repeat it out loud to myself, I can remember it the whole walk to get the phone. Other than that, like I said, I'm gonna be bringing the phone back in the room. Like, what's your number? I heard you. I just don't remember.
Yeah, I don't
And,
know if I'd be able to remember the whole way.
oh
You
my
gotta
God.
keep reading it. You gotta keep reading it to yourself. And
Yeah, I would have to tell you every one of my emergency contact list from looking at my phone. It's like here, this one, this one.
Mm.
The
I'll be
only number
watching.
I can tell you right now is like my current phone number, and I picked it for a certain reason because I had to switch from my previous cell phone number. And the only reason I can remember is because the first three numbers start with my birthday.
There you go. Mhm.
I just remembered mine after time and time and time of giving it out and writing it on things and typing it. I used to be so good before phones of just remembering people's number. Just pick up a phone and call this person. Them days are over.
Mm. What were you gonna say,
Like,
Kevin?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Something about. It's a weird to not remember when we're talking
Isn't
about
it?
memory. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We do that.
I know you want to go out. Let me just
I
use the
got
bathroom.
I will,
something.
What were we
I got
talking
something
about?
here. What'd you
exactly.
say?